Hello and welcome to the debut 2015 edition of the Robert Morris Women's Basketball Weekly. I'm your host, Chris Mueller, alongside Associate Head Coach Charlie Buscaglia and our first player guest of the series this year, sophomore shooting guard Niki Stamolamprou. To get into things, the Colonials are currently on a 5-game win streak, but the more important thing is that all 5 of those wins have came in conference play. Coach, how important are getting those early conference wins, and how beneficial do you think that'll be later on in the year?
Oh, I think that, starting this conference season off, we were off to a 1-2 start, and we had a tough non-conference schedule. So I think this 5-game winning streak has been a lot of testaments to some of the tough tribulations we've had earlier in the season, where we were put to the test at an early stage of the non-conference schedule, and then obviously having a little bit of a setback with 2 of our first road games in the conference. But just going 2-0 at home on the road last weekend, I think Saturday and Monday, I should say, I think has really shown that the team is really starting to gel and starting to progress. So I think that this 5-game winning streak has to do a lot with the tough competition that we faced on with the non-conference schedule and the early teams we played in the league.
Right, and obviously Artemis Spanu is no longer here. How has the coaching staff tried to alter or change the offensive scheme or mindset going into this season?
Artemis was a great player. Obviously walks away from the program as, arguably the best player in basketball history here. Might have been the best player in sports history with what she's done. So we don't ever forget that, but we have to move forward. And we have players on this team now that, we feel are very talented and are top players in this league for years to come, and Niki being one of them. So we're happy with the way the direction's gone, and we've incorporated a lot of different styles of play that'll fit more towards player like Niki or Ashley or some of the players that have come up through the system now and done other things that Artemis didn't do. Artemis was step out, she handled the ball, she went inside, but our players now quick off the dribble, catch and shoot with quick releases, drive to the basket left or right pretty well, and we've incorporated that pretty well with the transition. So I think that is a lot of the testament too to the 5-game winning streak. Is it took a little bit of time and took a little bit of learning, and even though we worked hard in the off season and practiced well, that game experience and that adversity in the middle of the game and being able to stick with what is going to win, I think now that's becoming more of a big-time role in our winning streak.
Right, and as you've said, Niki has been a big part of this production this season. She's leading in several categories: scoring, rebounding, minutes played. How much improvement have you seen from year 1 to year 2 in her, and what part of her game do you think she's doing best?
I think Anna's become a much better player in 1 year. I see the improvement, comparable to some of the players that have won Players of the Year for us in the past. Someone from freshman to sophomore year. She's on a good pace right now. Obviously some of the things that Niki was able to do when she first came here, she's continued to do, which was obviously shoot the ball and handle the ball. But she's obviously doing more than that now. And defensively, Niki's become a much better player in 1 year. When she first came here, she had the ability, but just learning how to play in this country, the physicality of the sport, understanding how to take the charges, understanding how important it is to understand rotations and drop and things that we do every day in practice. She's picking up on it pretty quickly. 1 year now, we feel like she's one of our better defenders on the perimeter. She's one of the biggest things I would say Anna's growing up was, I think last game was a good testament to Anna. She didn't have her best game as far as scoring, but breaking down the film this morning on the way home and everything, she did a lot of other things. She set up a lot of shots for everybody else. Even though she's not playing the point, she's getting the ball, getting in the lane, causing help, because when she has the help, right now she's our leading scorer. So everyone, wants to stop her. Everybody always has a scouting report. Make somebody else beat you, make somebody else beat you. Well, when she got in the lane against Mount St. Mary's, she was finding open players left and right, and these players were shooters and things that they didn't want to have to leave, but they had to leave because she's going to the lane so well. So I would say offensively, she gets in the lane and she's willing to go all the way to the rim now. And I think that's something she's also good at, but she didn't do as much last year. So she's elevated her game in a lot of areas, and we're working every day with making her a better player. Let's that's what I told her before she came here. In 4 years, and you'll be a better player when you walk out than when you walked in. You'll be feel like you learned a lot of different things and you developed as a good player.
Right, she's definitely looking a lot better this year. Another player that's turning a lot of heads is freshman forward Megan Smith. She's playing a lot of minutes in her rookie year. What have you seen out of her and potential for the future? How high is her ceiling?
Well, Megan's a freshman, so she's going to have her good moments and she's going to have her tough moments. Just like any freshman, sure Anna could reflect back to her freshman year. We remember a few games that Anna felt like miserable, and then there was games where Anna was on a huge high. And I think the toughest thing to make freshmen understand is the steadiness that you have to play at. You have to be steady. You have to keep your mind steady. You have to make sure that no matter if we're hot or we're cold or things are going good or things are going bad, we're going to just keep rolling along. We're going to keep playing with the same energy we played no matter what the situation is. So she's got talent. She goes in, she goes out for us. Early in the season, she was hitting the outside shot for us more. Now she's been scoring more around the basket, and we're trying to get that all together now. I think it's been one or the other. But obviously the potential is there to be able to do both because she's done both. So with her, I think Megan is she's very, very competitive. She's very intense, and just controlling that intensity, making it something that's a good thing. And I think if she starts doing that, I think the level of potential is really high.
Right, and now the team moves into a big 2-game road swing. Bryan and FDU. The Bulldogs have always put up a good fight against you guys. What's the key into that weekend? And Bryan.
Well, starting off with Bryan, the game I only real focus on is the next game ahead. And, Bryan's obviously won a lot of games to start the season. Only one blemish in their conference record so far. So obviously they're playing a very, very good style of basketball for what they need to do. Obviously you can't, go on to the start that they've had without doing things that they do. So I think it starts probably, with their point guard, who's a senior. And having a senior point guard that was an all-conference player last year, coming back, you have to imagine that, that's a team that's going to be at the top of the league. Having a point guard that you can count on, and having a point guard that has experience under their belt and knows what they can do, knows what you want of them, and has developed in that position for 4 years, that's a big advantage. So I think that's probably going to be the thing that makes Bryant the best team that they are. And right now, at the top of the league with one loss, because they have a senior point guard. So I'm proud of the fact, we have Ashley Ravelli playing a point guard for us now, and Ashley Ravelli hasn't played the point for us. She was an emergency point guard her freshman year when we were struggling and we were building the team back up. And last year, she didn't play the point at all. And now this year, she's gone to the point, and she's done a great job of it. So, I think this will be a big matchup for us going against a senior point guard like her. That's going to be the biggest test.
Right. Well, thank you, Coach. And Niki, moving on to you're having a great sophomore season. In this past off season, what did you try to work on the most to improve?
As Coach said, I became a better defensive player. I'm willing to take charges and make sure I'm always be ready to help and drop. And offensively, I'm willing to go all the way to the basket instead of pull up and shooting the ball. Yeah,
and the team's won 5 straight. What do you think's clicked the most on the court during this current win streak?
I feel like our first game against Wagner had the energy and this feeling that we were ready to go out there and compete so bad. So yeah, I feel like the energy is better now, and we all work hard, practice are great. That's all. And
your fellow Greece native Artemis Spanu is no longer here on the team. How have you adjusted your game or the team's style of play now that the offense isn't solely focused around her?
We're missing our best player, one of the best players in Robert Moore's history and NEC. So I guess we have to change the whole game plan. But we're doing well so far. I have some other players that are great, like Ashley, Megan, freshmen that are young, but they can still help us and,
Right, and going into this road swing, what's the chemistry like around in this locker room, and how close of a tight-knit group are you guys?
I feel like at this point of the season we became a unit, we're a family, we're a real team, so they help us out there, help us win, and keep going.
Right, well thanks to the both of you, and sure to tune in to the team this weekend as they take on Bryant. Streaming is always available via NEC Front Row.